Hey everyone, today I'll show you a demo of Devops CLI, and we are going to see the Kubernetes plugin and the GUI that it offers. So I have downloaded and installed Devops CLI on my local machine. You can follow the instruction on GitHub page. So to start the Devops CLI, you just execute the command Devops, right? It has started as a server, and you can visit this location on your local browser. As you see, the UI has opened up, and then just to give you a brief info about the UI, here you get the general information about the cluster that you have been connected. So I'm connected to my local cluster, and I'm using the Kubernetes plugin and the default context. Okay, and here you have all the namespaces. Basically, we call isolators in DevOps CLI. So these are all your namespaces, and these are the actions that you perform on a resource. That is read, create, edit, etc., and specific actions that you can perform on a resource. Here we are viewing the namespaces. As you can see, these are all the namespaces in my Kubernetes cluster. Right at the bottom, you get a search bar to search resources. Right, all the resources that exist in your cluster can be searched through this bar. Okay, so this is the generic information about the UI. Let's do some actions. Okay, let's see config maps. So here are all the config maps. As you can see, I get a list. Let's see secrets. So these are all the secrets in my cluster. No worries. And let's see pods. Okay, here are all the pods in my cluster. Great. Nice. So yeah, you can this is how you can change the resources in DevOps CLI. Now let's see what happens when I change the namespaces / isolators, right? If I click on default, I get only the default namespace, right? And I can change like this from this switcher, right? I don't have anything in my namespace. So let's go back to our default namespace. So here I have two pods, carry server, okay. So I'll try to read the YAML. So here is the YAML, okay, cool. I can edit the YAML if I want, and you can press on save button. Now I want to it here, and you can delete the pod as well. So I'll delete the pod. Okay, it has been deleted and it is restarted. Cool. Right. Now I can show you what specific actions, like these are actions specific to this resource only. So as you can see, you can describe a pod. Okay, this is the output of describe. Cool. Now I can do a shell in my pod to access this shell. ls cd point working directory, go to root. I think you get the gist. You can do all the shell operations that you normally do and using kubectl exec, right? You can view the logs of the pod. Okay, so it has only this much logs code. What else? What should I show you next? Port forward. Okay, so I have an application in my Argo namespace, right? So this application has a UI itself. So I would like to open that UI. So what I'll do, I'll just say open app. So it asks me the form. So this is the default port that it has picked from the YAML. So I'll just click on OK. Automatically the application will open up. Great. Is it working? Okay, I have this. Cool, it is working. Now, as it is a long running process and it is in the backend, so I would like to see what are the long running processes. As you see, it has a long running processes of open app running and its status is running. So I'll just delete this. If I delete it, this should no longer work. Great. So we have seen actions. We have seen what are specific actions, right? Great. Now I want to show you how to extend this functionality, right? So everything is configurable in DevOps CLI. So I want to show you just an example, right? I would like to add a new cluster which is located at this directory in my file system, and I would like to add some functionality to my namespaces resource. So I'll explain what it is, right? So there is a plugin called kubectl get all, which actually gets all the resources in a namespace instead of the default get all command of Kubernetes that only displays some resources, right? This is a plugin that you need to explicitly install using Crew, the plugin manager of Kubernetes, right? Similarly, I have another plugin that I would like to use in my service account resource, that is check access. It shows me the access matrix, what resources I have access to in a namespace. Cool. So this is just it, and you need to reload the application. I'll just do a quick refresh, and you see the configuration has been picked up and get a get all command. Okay. So I would like to see what all resources are present in this namespace. Okay, so only service account config map school, that is basic. And then what about this namespace? Here we have secrets, config map. So I think you get the gist. Similarly, I can do it with service accounts. I have check access. So these are all the service accounts. So I'll just do, what is this? Okay, so I have access to all this service account, etc. All these resources in my Kubernetes cluster. Cool, let it be. Now I would like to show you how do you switch the clusters, right? So in the search bar, you press @ and you get a bunch of options. So as you see, I have my work cluster here, use auth work cluster that I recently shown you how I enabled it. So I just click on it and it changes. It is connected to that cluster. Cool. Now I would like to show you how to change plugins. So this is the Kubernetes plugin that we are using, but now I would like to use the Helm plugin. So you press @ and as you see, there is a plugin option of Helm. So I'll just click on Helm. Okay, so I'm using my, again, local cluster context, and the plugin is default Helm. Okay, now in what resources do we have in Helm? So we have releases, right? So I would like to see releases in all namespaces. So these are all the releases that I have. Great. So it's like a Helm UI basically. So I would like to read this. Okay, and this is the YAML. And these are all the specific actions that you can perform. Let's see the history of this. Show history. Okay, only one revision was deployed. Cool. I think you get the gist of what Devops CLI is capable of. I would love to hear your feedback on this tool. That is great. Okay, so if you face any issues regarding the use of tool, you can create an issue over here. It is an open source application, so you can create issues over here. Thank you.